Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Ontario Works. Thank you for taking the time out and being here. My name is Ruchika, and I am the project coordinator at COSTI. I will be your presenter for today. In today's webinar, we are going to be looking at the following things. What is Ontario Works? The application process for Ontario Works, the Ontario Disability Support Program, and some general resources on Ontario Works and Ontario Disability Support Program. We will begin by looking at Ontario Works. In Canada, we know that it is very important for adults to be productive and self-sufficient. Therefore, it is necessary to find good employment so that you can provide for yourself and your family. However, there may be times when you are in the process of looking for a job or you are between jobs and experience some financial difficulty. At those times, there is a temporary assistance for all residents of Ontario, and this help is what is called Ontario Works. Ontario Works offers employment and financial assistance to people who are in temporary financial need. If you are in a temporary financial need, Ontario Works can offer financial and employment assistance, as well as emergency assistance in crisis situations. We will go through each of these topics in more detail. Financial assistance helps cover your basic living needs such as food, rent, and other incidental items. If you do qualify for Ontario Works, sometimes you qualify for other health benefits too. For example, prescription drugs, vision care for dependent children, and eye exams for people between the ages of 20 and 64 every 2 years. Diabetic supplies may also be covered if you do not have any other coverage, maybe from other organizations like the Canadian Diabetes Association. Transportation assistance might also be covered. For example, if you need to go to a medical appointment or your rehab appointment, then you sometimes do get a transportation allowance too. Extended health benefits. If you are no longer eligible for Ontario Works due to employment income, but have really high healthcare costs that your employer does not cover, you may be eligible for extended health benefits to help cover some of your healthcare costs that we just talked about under health benefits. Employment assistance. To receive Ontario Works, you have to sign a participation agreement. This agreement sets out the employment assistance activities that you will participate in to find work and or improve your skills. This agreement is updated regularly when you complete activities or begin new ones. Participation requirements can be deferred in certain situations such as due to illness or caregiving responsibilities. Where participation requirements are not deferred or restricted, individuals who refuse to participate or fail to make reasonable efforts to participate will have their financial assistance cancelled for single recipients or reduced if there are other members in the benefit unit. Employment assistant activities include a lot of things. So the first one could be workshops on looking for work, resume writing, and preparing for an interview. Also educational programs. Perhaps you need to get high school credits or improve your language skills. Perhaps you need support with language literacy or need to upgrade your reading, writing, or even your math skills. If you need special training or skills to do a job, the employment counselor will help you access this, and this is called job-specific skills training. Information, referral, and employment counseling is when an employment counselor will work with you and see what kind of support you need to become employed. The employed counselor will give you a lot of valuable information and will also develop a plan with you on how to search for a job based on your skills, experience, and personal circumstances. If you need a referral to a training program or another agency, the employment counselor can also do this for you. Many times, the employment counselor knows of jobs that are available or employers who are also hiring. There are different programs that help you find a job. Let's look at the first one, which is learning, earning, and parenting. If you are a young parent between the ages of 16 and 25, the LEAP program can give you the supports you need to finish high school, also improve your parenting skills, and prepare you to find a job so that you can support your family. Employment placements. When you're ready for a job, the employment counselor can connect you with employers who are hiring and help you prepare for the interview and help with training for the job if required. Community placements is a placement in a community agency that can help you gain valuable experience. You can practice your skills, improve your confidence, and get up to date job references and contacts. Literacy screening and training. If it's hard for you to get or to keep a job because you have trouble with reading, writing, or math, Ontario Works can help you get the education you need. Employment resource centers are centers where you have access to a photocopier, a phone, a fax machine, and other supports to help you with your job search. Employment assistance, let's look at the benefits. If you are receiving Ontario Works and are participating in an employment activity or have found a full-time job, there are some additional supports that may be available to you. So the first one is transportation costs or buying a uniform or workbook or tools that you may need on the job or paying for licensing fees before you can even begin working. You may be able to get help to cover the costs of childcare. Extended employment health benefits is if you no longer qualify for financial assistance under Ontario Works because you have a job, the extended employment health benefit may be available to you. You may be eligible for this benefit if you do not have health benefits, a health benefit plan with your employer. Emergency assistance. This assistance is available to people who are in crisis situation or in an emergency situation. The provision of financial assistance in an emergency may include an amount for basic needs, shelter, and benefits. For example, you may need quick short-term financial assistance because you have lost your home or are leaving an abusive relationship, or perhaps you have concerns for your own safety. Emergency assistance is provided once in 6 months period for up to 16 days, except in the case of women entering an interval or transition home for abused women, or inland refugee claimants who are awaiting an appointment to determine eligibility for referral to the Immigration and Refugee Board up to a maximum of 3 months or 6 day or 16-day installments. As you work through your emergency, you may need referrals to other services in the community to help you. This also may include interpretation help. Now let's look at what is the application process for Ontario Works. Before applying to Ontario Works, you need to check whether you are eligible. You will be asked to provide documentation showing that you are a resident of Ontario and live here. You also need to show that you are in a financial need. You will be asked to demonstrate that your household doesn't have enough financial resources to meet your basic living needs by verifying any income and assets you have as well as your housing costs. You must be willing to find work and keep your job unless you have circumstances such as an illness or caring full-time for someone else. If you live with a spouse and or adult children and they are not working, they also must agree to participate in the employment assistance activities. Let's look at who is counted as a part of a household or family. Many families live with each other, with other adult family members, for example, aunts, grandparents, etc. For Ontario Works purposes, one unit or one family is made up of parents and their children only. Other members like parents, sibling, or parents would need to apply for Ontario Works separately if necessary. Unrelated roommates are not a part of your application. People receiving Resettlement Assistance Program, which is RAP funding from the federal government, and privately sponsored refugees are not eligible for Ontario Works. Other available financial resources like applying for federal child tax benefits. No matter which way you apply for Ontario Works, you will be asked a lot of information, so it is a good idea to have it ready before you begin your application process. Here is some of the information that you will be asked to give. Full name of each family member, date of birth for everyone in your family. You will need a copy of their birth certificate or other information to verify their identity. Immigration status of each family member. You will need a copy of your immigration paper too. Income and assets of yourself and your immediate family, which could be your spouse and your children that live in the same household. You will be asked to provide verification of your income and assets, which may include pay stubs, income tax returns, bank statements for each account, and pension statement. Your your current address, and your recent bank statements from all your bank accounts. Looking at some more information for each family member, the rent that you pay and whatever other household costs that you pay, such as utilities, you will be asked to provide a copy of your rental agreement or your mortgage statement as verification. You will also be asked for what other costs you have, for example, childcare costs. You should also have on hand your social insurance number for each family member, as well as the Ontario Health Insurance Card number. If you have children under the age of 18, you will be asked for a copy of your Canada Child Tax Benefit Statement. Information about the money you're receiving, like pension, and information about the assets you own will also be asked. Now, how can you apply for Ontario Works? There are three ways which you can apply. The first one is online, second one is in person, and the third one is by phone. So when you're applying online, make sure that you're eligible for Ontario Works. Learn about the information you need to fill in the application and start the process. On this slide, we have given the link to the application page. Applying in person, you will contact your local Ontario Works office and bring all the documents with you. There is a link for all the offices of Ontario Works. We have given the link at the bottom of this slide. If you decide to complete an application, you will be given a time to have a meeting with the caseworker at the Ontario Works office. If you are unable to go to the office, this meeting could be held either in your home or somewhere else in your community. You will have to show the documents that we have listed earlier. The caseworker will confirm which documents he or she will need for you to bring in. Lastly, you can apply by phone. You can call your local Ontario Works office and complete the application by phone. We have listed the toll-free number for the Ontario Works office, which is 1-888-465-4478. If you're applying over the phone, you will still need to have all the documents that we talked about earlier because you will be asked many questions. So it's a good idea to have them ready before you call. So the process in a nutshell is You will sign an application for the Ontario Works Financial Assistance. The assessment will be based on your status in Canada, your family size and ages of your family member, your income, your assets, and your household housing costs. And you will also need to sign a participation agreement. Now, what are your rights and responsibilities? If you're applying for Ontario Works, you have the right to be told whether you're eligible or not in writing. If you do not agree with the decision, you also have the right to appeal it. Your responsibilities are to meet your caseworker regularly, which could be every 3 months to review your participation agreement. Every 12 months, the worker will review your financial situation with you. You also should take part in employment assistance activities that will help you find a job. You also should report income that you receive from a job or a training program or any other source such as employment insurance, pensions, etc. You should keep your receipts and statements in order to verify your income, assets, and expenses. For example, keep your pay stubs, bank account statement, childcare receipts, etc. You should inform your caseworker about any changes in your situation, such as getting a job, opening or closing a bank account, having a baby, or moving, etc. Provide all available resources like tax benefits and child tax benefits. It is your responsibility to apply for all available resources such as federal tax benefits, which include the child tax benefits. Now moving on to the Ontario Disability Support Program, and here are some of the details. This program in short is called ODSP. The Ontario Disability Support Program provides income and employment support to individuals and their families who are eligible. Eligibility for ODSP is the same as Ontario Works, apart from one additional criteria, which is to have a substantial disability. Have a substantial physical or mental disability that will last 1 year or more, which is also verified by a healthcare practitioner and makes it hard for you to take care of yourself or participate in community or even to work. You also need to be over 18 years of age. You must be a resident of Ontario and have legal status in Canada. Either you should be a citizen or a refugee claimant. People who receive RAP funding or private sponsor support are not eligible for Ontario Works, but may be eligible for ODSP as long as they meet the criteria. Also, a good thing to note here is the amount of assistance provided under ODSP is higher than the amounts paid under Ontario Works, and there are also more health benefits under ODSP. ODSP considers your financial situation, which is the same as Ontario Works, which means that you need to be in financial need. If you are a person with disability, according to the definition in the law, and ODSP financial rules are less stringent than Ontario Works. The ODSP worker might ask you, do you have any income and how much? Do others in your family have income and how much? How much are your housing costs? What is your family size? Do you have any other assets and how much? If you are 65 years old or older and are not eligible for old age security, you may also qualify for ODSP. ODSP for refugees. All refugees, whether they are conventional refugees who are privately sponsored or government-assisted refugees or come under the blended sponsorship refugee category, are eligible for ODSP support at any time, even during the first 6 months after arriving in Canada, while they are receiving support from private sponsors or the government. In cases where the private sponsorship agreement breaks down, refugees may also be eligible to receive social assistance as long as all other eligibility criteria have been met. The condition of receiving ODSP support is that you have pursued all available financial resources. To receive ODSP, you must be financially eligible. That means you must be in the need of financial assistance. So there are two kinds of support even in ODSP. The first one is income support. Income support is for you if you need help to pay for your living expenses such as housing and food. If you qualify for income support, you would also qualify for other benefits such as health benefits and assisted devices. A thing to note is that income support under ODSP is higher than the amount of financial assistance provided under Ontario Works, and there is a wider range of health benefits. If you are able to work, ODSP helps you with the following supports. Depending on your situation, you may also get help to find a job coaching, software and mobility devices to help you do your job, assistive devices, transportation assistance, special clothing, tools, or equipment that you need to do your job, any other items or supports, and you may also get help to start your own business. If you want to apply for Ontario Disability Support Program, you can call, visit the closest office to where you live, or apply online. To get the phone number or address of the office that is closest to you, go to this website. You will be asked to indicate where in the province you live, north, south, east, or west. Once you have selected this, it will ask you for your postal code, and then you will get information about the offices that are closest to you. If you need help doing this, you can also go to your settlement counselor at any agency which is close to you. Once you have contacted the ODSP office, either by phone, in person, or online, a caseworker will call you to make an appointment for an in-person meeting. He or she will ask you to bring the following documents: your personal information, information about members of your household's housing costs and other shelter-related costs, your household's income and assets. Again, all of this is the same as Ontario Works, so perhaps just a note that rather than describing process in a way, it suggests that it might be different or harder. Once you have once you're found financially eligible for ODSP, you will be given a medical application package, which you will have to take to your doctor or a healthcare practitioner to provide more information about your disability. Looking at some of the resources related to Ontario Works and ODSP. So the first is a link of all the Ontario Works offices. The second link takes you to ODSP offices. The third link is a link for Service Ontario. Moving on to Employment Ontario offices, 211 Ontario and the settlement.org, which is talks about all the settlement services available. This webinar was provided by the O2O program. The O2O program has been designed to expedite and facilitate the settlement of newcomers to Ontario and help them make better informed choices. This is a bilingual program funded by Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada and by the Government of Ontario. On this slide, we have listed our email address and our phone number and a link to our program. So if you have any questions about the webinar, please either you can call us or email us. COSTI Immigrant Services is a community-based multicultural agency specifically focused on providing services to newcomers who are settling in the Greater Toronto Area. COSTI provides educational, social, and employment services to help newcomers become self-sufficient and settled in their new community. And COSTI manages the O2O project, which brought you this webinar today. Thank you for taking the time out and being in this webinar. And I hope you gained some valuable information. And please let us know if you have any questions.